Hello, and welcome back to Elephant in the Room, episode 12. Today's a very special episode to me. It means a lot to me because, I went to jail. I've been in the state penitentiary. I've been in Dauphin County prison. I've been in Perry County. Now, obviously, it was a different part of my life. I wasn't in the best state of mind when I went to all these places. I didn't really care about a lot of shit. But that doesn't mean I'm not a human being. It doesn't mean same thing with anyone that goes to jail. You don't deserve some type of decency and respect in your life. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't a murderer. I ain't kill nobody, I ain't rape nobody, I ain't do nothing, no little kid, nothing like that, and I was still placed in this system that it is set up for the very worst of the worst of the worst. The people that they don't have no type of real mentality to come out of the area that they're in. So today, I got Kevin Maxson. Some of you might know him from the Dauphin County prison protests. I finally got to get a hold of him, get him on the show, everything. Very decent guy, he's a very intelligent man. Got him on house arrest now. So why don't you tell us what's going on with you?
Well, since I've been home, it's been, an uphill battle. I'm under very high scrutiny, almost like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
I was placed on this electronic monitor because I did a public speaking engagement at a bar. I don't drink. Right. I don't indulge in marijuana, none of cigarettes, none of that. And I went there for the sole purpose to have dialogue with some of the community members, speak about black-owned business, and speak about how minority ownership and entrepreneurship can help our community, can help us generate revenue in commerce and the economy to better serve the people. And I feel as though, the reason why the middle class has almost been obliterated or disappeared is because there's no real entrepreneurship. Everything is big business and industrialized and commercialized, so all that money and revenue isn't being circulated back in the economy. It's actually being outsourced to other economies, like with the prison system. People are under the impression that these prisons are owned by the communities in which they're in, but they're not.
No.
They're privately owned and held entities. And what they do is use local government, the Department of Corrections, and agencies like that to occupy the space and run the prison. So they don't meet the same standard and threshold. They don't follow rules and regulations. They do basically what they want, because you got a Justice Department that sweeps a lot of things under the rug.
A lot. Yeah, no, it's especially somewhere like Dauphin County.
Absolutely.
It's probably one of the worst examples you can find of a county prison to just go to. Because I was talking to a domestic relations person the other day, and they said when they walked through Dauphin County, they felt bad for the people inside the jail, because it's just horrible environment to be in. As soon as you get in there, you feel just the pain and anxiety and the fucking just everything for people sitting in their cells 22 hours a day, every single motherfucking day.
It's a cruel and unusual punishment atmosphere.
I think so, yeah.
Within a 5-year period, there's been 11 deaths.
Yeah.
And they label some of them suicide, but we know better.
Right, and that's just the deaths. How many people have gone in there and just gotten the shit beat out?
I would say thousands.
Thousands.
I'm not going to say hundreds or 10 or 20. I'm going to say thousands, because when I was there between 2009 and 2010, I was subjected to brutality.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually placed in a home, kept in a home for 11 months, with no real justification.
The whole system that's set up in jails is crazy to me. Talk about cruel and unusual punishment. It's something that's really difficult for someone to wrap their mind around if they've never been to jail. Truly sitting in a closet
for 23 hours.
23 hours a day. And if you're in the hole, it might be worse, because what's the point of going out in the hole, motherfucker? If you're in a state jail, like I was in Pine Grove, so it's all young, dumb motherfuckers up there with more numbers than with more years to go in prison that they have on earth so far.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that does something to your brain when you're that young. That, fuck it, the next 10 years, this is one of the things they tell you when you go upstate, the next 10 years, if you got a 20-year sentence, you can do whatever you want the next 10 years, because they're not going to look at it when you go up for parole and shit like that. So people go up there with these crazy mentalities, and Pine Grove, when you go to the hole, they be throwing shit on each other.
Yeah,
throwing shit all on each other.
But you gotta understand what you just said, the first 10 years you do what you want. That's the self-destructive thing.
Absolutely.
Because I was told I'm young, you ain't doing a lot of time, you can go in a while out, do this, that, and the third.
Right.
And I chose not to do that. Even though I'm well respected in any state prison, I chose to enlighten myself and educate myself, and I self-educated myself. I ain't go to college or anything.
Right.
I didn't even graduate from high school. I took a test at Camp Hill without studying and passed the GED and was in the top 10 percentile in the nation for his test. I got maybe 2 or 3 inches wrong without studying.
That's amazing.
So I know I'm not a dumb person.
No.
It just, while in society I wasn't applying myself.
No, same thing for a lot of black people, I think. The same thing for a lot of poor people. It's not even really a black thing, which is something that people really got to wrap their heads around.
Nah, it's the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly.
So when you hear me say my people, I'm speaking about everybody.
Everybody.
Because I grew up, a lot of my friends, I have white friends, Hispanic friends, all different race, colors, creeds, sexual orientations that are my friends.
Yeah.
People I highly respect and love. So it's never a white and black thing.
No,
I can never look at things that way.
No.
But in the same token, how this society is set up, they segregate everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was a time when you went to prison, they only put white people in the cell with white people, black in the cell with black, Hispanic in the cell with Hispanic. They don't know what you is, they just group you together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thinking. And when you got everybody segregated in cells, what they going to do naturally? Segregating yards, segregating population. And this causes conflict. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if the whites is all over here, and the blacks is over here, and the Hispanics is over here, what you think's going to happen? You sitting there with a bunch of men being brutalized, being oppressed, being mistreated, separated from their home. It causes conflict, and these people start fighting and being at each other's throat, fighting over the same breadcrumb.
Right.
And while in prison, I had to like I said, I was highly respected, and I used to be a mediator, and I used to stop a lot of violence, a lot of nonsensical things that transpire in prison because it's necessary. And I figure if I could be a leader in prison with people who are considered hardened criminals and people who are ignorant, but they're really not. Some of the most intelligent people I've met in my life were in prison.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's got cop or something.
everybody has the same essential values and principles. Some people just want people to hear them out. Some people just want some attention. A lot of people have been left in the dark so long in their life, they don't even know how to interact with another human being and treat them civilly. Because they've been treated, like you said, like an animal.
Oh, yeah. Especially if they've been in the hole for any amount of actual time. Like if they go in the hole and come back out and get in a fight or something, or someone has a problem with them and now they have to go back to the hole because they defended themselves, or like anything. And you're in the hole for, say, 9 months. What do you think that's really going to do to the human brain? Not having no interaction with any other type of people. It's horrible.
I was in there for 11 months. Straight.
11.
Straight. And I went from the hole to state prison. But part of the reason why I went to the hole is because the juvenile block, because they got a juvenile block there. The juvenile block was always locked down, always fighting, always a lot of crazy stuff going on. The guards didn't know what to do. So I volunteered to go over there and change the environment of the block. So they moved me from an adult block over there. And while over there, I started teaching them law work. I started teaching them how to engage with one another without always being violent.
Right.
And they got off lockdown.
Good.
So the guards got mad at me.
Oh, man. See,
They got mad at me because
for what?
inmates started going home. I started teaching them how to file litigation. I told them if you're in jail and pre-sentence incarceration over 365 days, you qualify for Rule 1100, which could free you with prejudice, and you can't bring the case back up because you got 365 days to get in the trial. So I start filing these for these young men and teach them how to write them up and put them in, and they start going home.
It's one of the big things that's really wrong with the judicial system is how many people just plea out. How many people just plea out and take what the government gives them and just go to state prisons.
It's part of the process.
It's a big part of the process. If
Don't-
everybody goes to trial, this whole system shuts down.
Exactly. And Dauphin County Prison is ranked number 3 in the nation. It's ranked number 3 in the nation for one reason. Because the cruel and unusual punishment people are accustomed to in there.
Yeah.
They literally beat you into submission till you cop out and take a plea bargain.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck wants to sustain that type of punishment? The COs is beating you up. They denying you food. Like I used to have to shower with cuffs and shackles on in population. You see what I'm saying?
That's horrible.
They will withhold your mail. They will deny you phone calls. They will deny you visits. Like, and you going through this for month after month after month to the point you just psychologically break down.
And like I said, a big thing I gotta keep pressing, man, is you weren't in there causing trouble. Not in the typical sense that people would think someone causing trouble in prison. You were in there trying to help people. You were in there trying to like make a difference in a positive way in the prison population, which people should strive for. People should want that type of shit. And you were all this for what? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like you said, there was 11 deaths in the last fucking 5 of them were suicides.
That's what they say.
It's actually 10. It
No, that
says
was mine.
10
That
and
was
5
that
years
was mine.
for suicide.
They got another one that's not all cleared out yet just yet.
Yeah.
But he's probably 11 by now. That article I'm looking at.
Yeah, it was 11. It's 11, but this is what I'm saying. If it don't get spoken upon, you will never know.
Never.
A lot.
Because you don't hear about it.
Until I start speaking about Tyreek Riley's death, it wasn't in the media, it wasn't being spoken about or nothing. And then when it started getting spoken about in the media, because I started protesting and stuff, the first thing they did is try to make the victim look like the villain.
Oh, that's what they do every time.
Like they called him a drug addict. That wasn't the case. They said he had mental health issues. That wasn't the case. None of these things they categorized this child as was true. And they saying he was combative and this, that, and the third, but the coroner report and the medical report proves he had no combative scars. He has no white skin under his fingernails. So who was he combative against?
Yeah. No, it's horrible. I had a conversation with the younger white guy. I forget his name right now off the top of my head, but he got strapped to a chair when he first got in there. They doing your pat down, strip you down. Scott Lehman, that was him. I had a conversation with him. I was trying to get him on the podcast and stuff. But he said it was to the point he couldn't even remember what happened.
Yeah,
He just remembers getting strapped to the chair and waking up in a hospital.
They beat the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah, on camera.
Absolutely.
On camera, strapped to a chair. Like, this motherfucker could not defend himself, couldn't move, nothing like that. And that's just the one that we know about because it's that extreme.
Him and Terry Riley happened in the same
I know that.
time.
I know that.
But
like a month away from apart.
The crazy thing about the Justice Department is they made it like it was his fault.
Yeah.
They said he sustained them scars and them injuries due to him tripping and falling. And it makes no sense. How do you sustain a fractured orbital bone and that type of bruising? You can tell the bruising is from blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
Any idiot can see.
Multiple places. Multiple
So you
places.
mean to tell me he slipped, fell, and just rolled on his face? Come on, man.
No, it's horrible. It's bad, man. And one of the other things that pissed me off, I heard you say it on one of your videos because I was looking you up before I was looking you up before I came here to talk to you, obviously, because I don't want to be talking to something crazy. You got to look who you're talking to. So I was looking up, and like you said, the same thing that always blew my mind is they just built that whole courthouse right there. The whole processing facility to get people in and out and straight into court. They couldn't just build the people cafeteria. Couldn't build these men a cafeteria when, like I said, at the end of the day, most of these people are convicted. There's no convicted murderers sitting in Dauphin County right now. There's all that shit, they get sent out. They go upstate and all that other shit. And that's a whole other story. You know what I mean? But Dauphin County is crazy. Like, you really gotta sit there and eat on your toilet, man. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and it's considered cruel and unusual punishment. And the crazy thing about it, the gymnasium doubles as a cafeteria. They literally have a working kitchen in the gymnasium. They don't use it. They don't use it at all. You can bring people in block by block, let them eat till everybody's fed, clean the kitchen up, move the tables, and go back to the gym activities.
Yeah.
Why won't you do that? You don't even let them go to the gym anyway. They lock down all day.
Another thing is they got an open toilet in the gym. So for some reason you had to go to the bathroom during your only hour out of your cell. You can't go back to your cell. Everybody watches you take a shit or because you got diarrhea or something like that. You have to be in front of the entire population of your block.
And then when you look at the State Department, when you look at the prisons in the state system or the federal system, they don't have them same issues.
Never. You don't hear nothing about that. Like at Pine Grove, we had individual showers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's not impossible. This shit is ridiculous. And the problem is, they get so much money off of these people, they don't want to put nothing back into the gym.
Absolutely.
Like they want it to be the most horrible type of place that you could ever imagine going. Like that's gonna keep people out of jail. That's not why people go to jail because they're not afraid of going to jail. People go to jail because they need money or they're sick or some other shit. Some people just need to go to jail.
Or they've been profiled, stopped, brutalized, like the Terry Riley incident. The only reason why he went to the booking center and was incarcerated and later ended in his death was because they brutalized him in that car and realized what they did to him and was like, damn, we can't let him go home all fucked up, and took him to the booking center and incarcerated him. These people know what they're doing and they think they're above the law.
So this is the same type of situation I was just saying. So he went into jail. He wasn't like convicted or anything. Yeah, he was waiting to go to jail.
He wasn't even charged with anything.
He wasn't even charged with anything. No. So there was no way for him to possibly try to bail out or anything.
Charge him till after they beat his ass.
Wow. So what did they try to charge him? Like what was the initial like him getting picked up for in the first place?
He wasn't supposed to get picked up. All right. So the story goes as follows. Where the family lives, people come onto their land. They come to the door, listen, y'all can't be on our land. This, that, and the third. The son came down, seeing somebody out there, and he was telling his father and his mother there's somebody out there. And the father was like, get away from the door, don't worry about it. It's late, just go get back on the bed. He's like, nah, Dad, they're around the house. So he picked up the little sledgehammer. That's it. Yeah. His dad like, put the sledgehammer down, go lay down. So he's like, nah, Dad, I'm gonna stay here until they leave. So his dad walks over to him, grabs the sledgehammer, like, listen, son, give me the sledgehammer. So they start doing a little tug of war. Dad slips and falls. He got a pacemaker. So he started going into a slight cardiac arrest.
Oh shit.
The mother called the ambulance, told the ambulance when transpired. They came. The ambulance get there and see he was bleeding. The only reason why he was bleeding because when he fell, he hit the radiator. So the ambulance calls the police and tell them the son beat the dad with a sledgehammer. Now, if you beat a man with a sledgehammer, right, with a pacemaker, they're going to die 9 chances out of.
Or at least have a lot of broken bones.
He
You
had
gonna break something.
He had no blunt force trauma injuries or anything, just distractions from falling on the radiator. The police come and try to talk to Tyreek, and Tyreek like, I don't want to talk to you. And he tries to walk away. They grab him, cuff him, and take him in the car. He get in the car, they mace him. And they tase him on both sides of his neck.
Jesus.
You see what I'm saying? And then the rest of the files, he ended up dead later. And then they said he died from natural causes, which is true because rhabdomyosis is a natural cause, but what leads up to rhabdomyosis is not natural. You got to go through traumatic events for your body to secrete that enzyme which shuts your body down. And it does it as a defense mechanism to keep you from pain and suffering. So when the coroner made that statement, I'm looking at it like, well, that's true, but you didn't tell how he ended up at that stage.
Yeah.
And these are some of the 3 normal things that cause your body to secrete that enzyme. Being struck by lightning, a building falling on you and crushing you, in a fatal car accident. Now we know he wasn't in no fatal car accident because he was in DCP. We know a building didn't fall on him because he was in DCP. Now, when it comes to the lightning strike, okay, that makes sense. Y'all tased his neck. He had the wounds on his neck. Y'all sent an electrical charge up his fucking brainstem to his brain, which probably fried his cortex.
Yeah.
So that was the first stage of rhabdomyosis, right? And then y'all took him there because he was acting erratic. Of course he gonna act erratic. Y'all just shocked his brain. How can he be normal after that?
He got mace all in his face and shit.
Y'all start beating him. Y'all beat him, knocked him out, and left him on the cold floor. Then y'all put him in a restraint chair. That's like a building falling on him. And the beating's almost like a fatal car accident. So every stage of rhabdomyosis he experienced prior to his death. So of course it was natural causes after these chaotic events. And then y'all have the nerve to get on national TV and said y'all seen no foul play. And put these Photoshop pictures of him laying on the slab, deceased, when we got the real pictures from the hospital and they completely contradict what y'all put up. Why would y'all pay all that money and go through all that to Photoshop the pictures to make it look like he sustained no injuries?
Right. No, that's fucked. That's
Y'all
fucked.
killed him.
The white dude that got beat up, strapped in the same chair, I'm sure, the restraint chair, and beat the shit out of him in jail. He's still fighting his shit. And they have him on camera.
Absolutely. But you gotta understand, that's how the network is set up. The leading district attorney in Dauphin County is the very district attorney who sits on the board of that prison.
Right.
The very district attorney who investigated these incidents. Of course he's going to cover it up. Why would he investigate himself?
The Harrisburg system's pretty fucking general. Like, they just had that judge get caught. Or just get thrown off, or whatever the fuck happened to that one judge that kept sending all them young men to state prison. Kept sending them all straight to state prison, giving them all these big ass numbers for shit that does not make sense. You know what I mean? It just blows my mind. Like,
it won't make sense to the public, but it makes sense to people who know what's going on.
oh yeah,
Like,
but it shouldn't make sense. Even to people like us, like, it comes down to greed. Like, it comes down to he was getting paid for that shit. It comes down to all that fucked up type of shit, but it still doesn't make fucking sense on how they can actually still do that shit to human beings. You know what I mean?
This is the problem with the private prison industry. If they make a contract with, say, Dauphin County or Camp Hill, right, to put a prison in their area and it to be ran by their agencies,
Right.
they gotta honor the capacity part of the contract. Now, these contracts, they're to sustain at least 87% capacity. If people aren't committing crimes, you can't fill the beds. If you don't fill the beds, you're not generating $44,000 per inmate per year. So it puts you in a hole. So the money you fronted that county or that city to occupy that space, is you losing money.
Right.
You gotta make your money back.
Yeah.
Now, if they give you $50 million every 10 years or whatever they give them, and they don't make their profit back, and they end up being in the red, they gotta sue. This is why all these prisons are suing in Pennsylvania. And this is why, if you haven't noticed, there's been an influx of incarceration.
Oh, I seen it.
So, local government passed policies and litigation which makes law enforcement enforce the laws harder. Once the laws is enforced, they jailing everybody, which is filling the county, so that money's being made.
Right.
And then from the county, they got to go upstate so they can honor that 87%. So they sending back parole violators like they just did me, and they sending back people for nonsensical bullshit.
Yeah.
And they trumping up the charges to make it felony.
Yeah.
Okay, you just
Like
do six
like a
months.
simple fist fight turned into aggravated assault or something like that. And now you
Yeah.
gotta go sit upstate because you have a record.
You ever notice when they give you a charge, say the charge is a DUI, but along with the DUI comes disorderly conduct, fleeting and looting. You did none of this shit,
No.
but all this shit comes with it.
Yeah.
So when you go to get sentenced and they tell you, well, we'll offer you this deal, you're like, all right, I'll take this deal because you thinking you can face all this time because all the standards for each charge, 3 to 6, 2 to 6, you think you're going to do all this
That's
time.
why you really take the deal, because they'll tell you, you can go to trial and we're going to give you 30 years for running from the cops and all this other crazy shit, or you can take this plea for 9 months and go home now because you've been sitting in county for a year already.
Absolutely. And see, people don't understand is even though they read off the charges separated, they're part of one criminal event, which means the head charge carries the other charges, so they consolidate it. So you only can get
So much.
what the title charge is,
Right.
but they don't explain this to the public.
No, they'll hit you with the whoopsie-doo.
And then you
They'll
got the
get you as
public
much as they
defender's
can.
office, and people who can't afford lawyers swapping their freedom out. All right, you give us some, we give you them.
Not to mention that the DA's office has 3 times the funding of the public defender's office for some crazy reason, even though they work in the same court system.
They're the same entity.
Exactly.
They work for each other.
And like you said, they'll switch them off or nothing. Like I've seen it done. Like we've never actually, I've honestly have never seen a DA and a lawyer talk. But you see it in the jail. Like you're sitting on an E block with all of these different people and watch one dude get out for something you should know he probably should go upstate for. And this other dude go to jail for something you should know he should not be getting no 1 to 2. He should be getting county time at max. And he's getting 2 to 4 years upstate or some crazy shit.
And this is the sad reality. They're
On a plea.
they can legally enforce servitude in this nation because of the 13th
I
Amendment.
was just about to get into that with you. If you ever seen the movie that they made on the 13th Amendment, it's called 13th. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
That
And I
movie's
was talking
insane.
about this way before that because, you know, when I was in jail, I was doing a lot of studying.
Yeah. It just opened my eyes a lot to it. Like, I knew it was bad, because, like, obviously I knew the whole slave, except if they fucking committed a criminal act or da-da-da-da-da, then you lose all your rights. But unless you're a criminal, and then you can be a slave for some reason. Like, you know, J.C. Penney was using prison state labor to make their clothes for a minute until they got found out. Like, you saw the movie, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There was that other big company, too. Exactly. But it was in the U.S. Like, a sweatshop's happening right here at home, and people freak out on Nike for using little Chinese kids that want to go to work and want to go do all that shit. As much as that's fucked up still, but they want to go do all that. Niggas in jail don't want to be working for Nike or Boscovs or none of this other crazy shit.
When you think about prison, though, you know, minimum pay is 17 cents per hour.
I know, yeah. Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
You can be a plumber, you can be an HVAC, an electrician,
Welder,
drywall, stone mason, and all these different skill sets.
barber, cutting 300 heads a day.
Yeah, barbers they make 25 cents an hour.
It's still
But
not nothing.
the reality of it is, how can you expect these people to live off this when the prices of commissary is sky high?
Ridiculous.
Like the prices in commissary is higher than what the shit costs on the street.
Yeah.
But you want
It's a
us,
little better in state than it is in county, but not much.
It's
Not
not much. It's
County's
not-
like $1.50 for a ramen noodle soup.
Yeah, absolutely. They
It's
inflate
crazy.
the prices. Right?
And it's different prices for different counties.
But
which
that's
is
all
weird.
by design.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
You got a woman out there taking care of your children and got to take care of herself and maintain the household. So she's probably working a job and taking care of the kids. And most of the time she's at work and got to work overtime just to make ends meet. Then she got another liability, you in prison, which is a whole nother bill.
So much bill. It's a couple bills.
When you think
'Cause
about
you
the
got
TV, the food, the phone calls, now the kiosk shit and the tablet shit. So when you add it all up, a woman over a year period, she might have went through $2,000-3,000 just sitting in
Oh,
the
easily.
And
Just
that's
on-
a minimum.
If they really go hard on phone calls are fucking expensive. If you really go real hard on phone calls, you can blow through a stack a year on just calling your boyfriend in jail.
I did the math before I left, because I threw all my stuff away. I was in jail 2.5 months for them taking me back for that technical violation.
Right.
I spent $1,600.
$1,600.
$1,600 in 2.5 months.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that life, because
I
you don't
can't-
smoke or anything, so
Nah,
you didn't have to
ain't
pay
no
any of
smoking
that.
in jail no
No, they
more.
got the vapes though, don't they?
I ain't smoking that.
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying for life or
I
smokers
couldn't
and
eat the
shit.
food. I ate the food and got sick. Like,
No, state prison food's
I
disgusting.
ain't got diabetes or nothing.
Because you went to
ate-
Camp Hill, right?
Yeah, I ate that food. My hands swelled up, my feet swelled up, my throat swelled up.
It's
I started having all this phlegm and migraine headaches, and I stopped eating the food. I went to medical and told them, and they was like, well, maybe something in this food is bothering me. So I did a little bit of research. Everything in there is 80% soy. Do you know humans aren't
What?
meant to, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, humans aren't meant to consume soy
Not that
at
much.
all.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's toxic and poison in our body.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of vegetarians eat that shit.
Because they don't know any better. It turns into a fungus in our body. Because our body can't break it down, so it sits there and it rots away in our body.
That's crazy.
And so most of the meats, chicken, well, they call it poultry. They never say chicken because it's not chicken. It's
Right. Yeah, they call
all
it
the
poultry.
scraps from whatever bird they choose to cut up, and they grind it up with soy. And then you got the beef products. They're 80-20, 80% soy, and the other 20% is whatever part of the beef that they have left over. It's normally degraded.
God forbid you're actual vegetarian, because the shit that they feed people, like super religious people
Oh my
and
God.
vegetarians and stuff, that's torture by itself.
They have
Because you
a-
could just, it's a square of tofu, just a square.
They got a kosher diet in there, and they give you raw celery, these raw GMO carrots, turnips, a bunch of nuts stuff.
Crazy
raw
stuff.
shit. And it's just horrible, man.
And even those people, you don't see them just survival in that.
You
None of
can't.
those people can survive on just that jail food. Like, I couldn't see it happening. There can't be enough nutrition in that stuff to keep you alive.
And then commissary in itself it causes high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that shit.
Everything on there is super sugary, super salty.
Period.
Yeah, it's not anything
If you look
good
at the
for you.
contents, you ain't supposed to eat that. Like, they had gallons of juice in there in the kitchen, right?
That's I was just
And
about to
they're
ask
supposed
you
to
about
dilute
that.
it. But the juice got a skull and bones on it, and it clearly says on the damn container, not for human consumption, can cause cancer. And you mean to tell me y'all still are allowed to get us to individuals?
Crazy.
Or
You can taste the chemicals in it. Like, I only drank the juice upstate one time, because they're the worst of it. Those are the ones, like, you can really, they get giant fucking barrels of it.
it's
The
just like
shit.
drinking pine sauce.
Oh
Shit's
my
horrible.
god. You can see the different colors of, like, random shit in there. Not any type of dye. You know it's not dye because it's, like, yellow in a red drink or
Before they
something.
shake it up, yeah.
Yeah, oh my god, dude, it's so bad. It's so bad.
And then the water like burns your skin up. You get spots and shit all on your skin because they recycle the water. They've been recycling this water
Super
since they
hard
built
water.
the prison, and it's full of bleach and all these different things because they say
You
they
can
put
smell it
chlorine in
when
the
the shower
water.
turns on.
It's bleach and it burns your skin up.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. I've seen a lot of people get really bad rashes and shit just from being in the jail. And then they got the soap. Like, God forbid you're actually alone in prison. If you're alone in state prison, it's a hard life, man. You gotta use the state prison soap.
That green
bars.
soap?
That shit has lye in it.
Yeah.
Straight up lye in
You're
it.
basically watching your body with some form of diluted acid.
Yeah.
It tears your body up.
Oh, it does, man. It's horrible. It's
That's why
horrible.
people come home so damn light. And
Oh,
people
yeah.
be thinking they come home because they don't get no sun. Nah, they light because they don't bleach their fucking skin for how
I was super late when I came home from upstate. I was ridiculously late. It's
I damn
crazy.
they blew in the dark when I came
And it wasn't because I didn't go outside, because I got outstate. I did get to go outside. You know what I mean? You get to go out to the yard, run the track, and all that type of stupid shit like that. But it wasn't because I wasn't getting sun. It was crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. That whole situation, man. Fucking jail.
And the one thing I want to fix in prisons and institutions, because you got these people on this board of prisons, but none of them are attacking the fact that the law library is limited.
Super
The
limited.
books are obsolete, they're outdated, the case law.
The
and-
computers barely work to get you what you want.
Yeah, nothing works in your favor.
No.
Like this.
No, they want you to struggle in jail.
Yeah, this is cruel and legal punishment. Then you're limited to when you can go to the law like that.
Like you said, man, that's the main point of all of this shit that goes on in the prisons. Everything they do to make you as uncomfortable as possible is because they want you to take the plea deal.
Right.
They want you to take that plea deal. Even if you sat there for a year, you know you're not guilty. You don't want a chance going upstate for 30 years. I don't want a chance going upstate for 30 years.
At all.
Nah, man. Like my girlfriend's sister's in jail right now. Her boyfriend, she's pregnant in prison right now. First off, they have her on a regular block. She's not even on a medical block or anything. She's in Lebanon County. So she already died. So I'm not exactly sure where we were at, but while we were on the break, we talked about a couple of things. We're gonna go back over most of them, but we were on actually nutrition. Me and Kevin are sitting here disagreeing on is meat bad for you? Because I don't think meat's bad for you, but I think that heavily processed meat or heavily genetically modified meat anything like that, I don't think that's really good for you. The same thing with like lab-grown meat or any of that weird shit. That the amazing meat, that fucking Burger King and all that, that's garbage. It's all garbage. No, and that's all plant-based shit, but they got soy in it and everything like that. You said something to me about tofu. Why don't you go over that again? We'll start there.
Well, tofu is made from soy. Everybody knows tofu is made from soy. But the problem with soy is it's not genetically evolved to be utilized in the human body. Once it's in the human body and our body attempts to break it down, it just stores it. And it stores it as a toxic fat. And see, there's positive fats and then there's negative fats. The negative fats, more times than few, evolve in your body and turn into things like tumors and cysts and these things. A lot of the cysts and a lot of the sickness that come in our bodies from the food we eat.
Oh yeah, a lot of it's from sugar.
Yeah. Also,
sugar's a really bad thing for you.
Also, sugar's actually like a damn steroid for any toxin in your body.
Cancer especially. Cancer eats sugar directly. It's what powers cancer cells. It's like they had a whole bunch of documentary stuff about a ketogenic diet. You know what that is? It's basically just, it's not being vegan or vegetarian. It's 100% natural. It has to come from a farm that you can go to, or you can go pick it off the tree, or you know a trusted source to get the stuff from. But there's no like trans fats, there's no fast food, there's no fried foods, there's none of that shit. It's basically if you can't hunt it, scavenge it, or pick it, you can't eat it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And these people are seeing amazing progress with cancer and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy that the way it goes into it, like it'll go in complete remission within months of stopping sugar and salt.
And that's the thing people fail to realize. Your stomach isn't just a system in your body that breaks down food and sends nutrients to it. Your stomach is actually a second brain.
Absolutely.
Your stomach has the same task as your brain would have. But the thing about your stomach, if you don't take care of your colon, you will never be healthy.
Never.
And a lot of people think, oh, well, secondhand smoking and all that, that is the direct link to cancer. Yes, smoking can have cancer effects, but most of the sickness and illness come from the diets that we have.
Right.
This westernized diet where there's high in starches and sugars and things of that nature is completely toxic in our body. And a lot of people don't know that. Right. And they see something, or it's diet, or it's good from you, this, that, and the third. It tears your body apart. For instance, in 2016, I broke both of my legs. They told me in a car accident, they told me I won't walk the same. I probably won't walk again within the 6-month time frame. And as a man thinketh, he so shall be. So I told myself, nah, that's not acceptable.
Right.
I started walking in maybe 2-3 weeks with 2 broken legs. Like
probably not the best.
Bone was sticking out.
Oh man!
Like,
so what you get smashed in?
A car crushed me between a brick wall and its bumper.
Oh!
SUV.
God
so
damn.
It broke my legs from the knee down.
Dang.
So, and at the time, I wanted to find a diet to help me heal faster. So I started studying Dr. Seabee with his alkaline diet.
Right.
And his diet is based off keeping mucus out your body, because mucus is the only real disease. And a lot of people don't know that mucus is the disease. You rid your body of mucus, you rid your body of any infections or diseases, because all disease or infection eats mucus and lives off mucus. So to do so, you have to stop drinking dairy products and milk. They cause phlegm.
I've actually heard a lot about dairy products lately.
Dairy products is horrible
not
for you.
great, because at the end of the day, they're not even from our species. Is one of the big things that it's kind of easy to see that dairy wouldn't be the best for you, because it's from a whole another species of animal.
Yeah, it's on the food pyramid, but when you think about the people that authenticated the food pyramid, they got a profit.
Right.
So the food pyramid is actually designed for us to eat things that make us sick, keep us going back and forth to the doctor to do what?
Yeah, they actually have
revenue.
Sugars on the food period too. So you know it's fucked up when there's sugar on there, because that's not something your body needs.
You're supposed to consume is from fruits and vegetables that generate their own natural occurrence.
And the crazy part is there's fruits out there that are really sweet and really, really fucking delicious, and people just are straight to go to a Snickers or a Hershey's bar or something like that way before.
And that's why we have obesity, diabetes, cardiac arrest, and all the different things. Like, instantly after I changed my diet, my feet stopped swelling up, my limbs stopped swelling up. I ain't even got no cartilage and shit in my knees, right? I don't have no leg pain, none of that shit. I don't take no pills.
That's good.
Because of that diet. I don't know what it did to my body, but it healed it in a way where the pain I used to feel, I no longer feel, and I healed fast. I don't get the flu. I don't get pneumonia. I don't get none of that shit.
Yeah, I don't get sick very much either. Since the only sugar I really put in my body, I drink one thing that I know I should not. I drink Red Bull, and I know it's probably the worst possible fucking thing for me. But it's the only sweet thing I drink. Like I don't drink sugar. I don't drink any sodas. I don't drink any
That's
teas.
put me in the shooting fucking
Right in my neck.
no, fucking heart.
I know it's
Makes
hard.
your heart swell. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I know it's bad for you in every possible way. It's one of those things that like. I might die tomorrow, so if I'm gonna enjoy something in life, like I'm gonna enjoy a couple of things in life. Like I'm not gonna limit myself from every possible.
And you do that for energy.
No, I do it because I like Red Bull. I do it because
that taste is horrible. You like that taste? I like it. Oh my god! See,
I like
that's
it.
a cigarette smoker's taste.
That's what it is. No, my taste buds are so fucking burnt out from smoking cigarettes and weed, shit like that. I know that. I know that. It fucks up a lot of your dining experience, just not being able to taste everything that you want to be able to taste.
More sugar
like
so you
that.
can taste.
Exactly, you put hot sauce on it or anything like that. That's from being a smoker. I know that. But at the same time, like
I used to smoke.
I'm a big guy that thinks like I think cigarettes should just be outlawed. Like I ain't even gonna lie. If you can outlaw all this stupid shit that you know isn't really
Look how
bad
much
for you.
money it generates in the economy. They ain't never
I know.
do that.
But at the same time,
Keep
we're to a
people
point
sick
now.
and keep people addicted.
That's really what it is. They don't care about keeping people addicted is what it is. Keep that money flowing and shit. But if they would really think about it like human beings, like, all right, if we're going to let these people smoke something, we might as well let them motherfuckers smoke weed. You guys already made that shit legal for medically in a bunch of different places. We made this recreationally, make weed legal and cigarettes illegal so these same companies can just switch out their crops. You know what I mean? Because I'm a businessman. I don't want nobody to go poor. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to lose their business or nothing like that. Y'all built it. You built it on some slimy shit.
Keep in mind, they make more money off the side effects of smoking tobacco products than they do selling tobacco. Did you know that?
Explain to me.
When you smoke cigarettes, you bound to get health effects.
Absolutely.
Right. And with that, they make the cure-all pills.
Yeah,
No pill cures anything, but you keep
that.
buying them because the doctor tell you, okay, if you take these pills, it'll slow this down, it'll repress this, and keep you from getting sick from this.
Right.
And you get respiratory issues, you get all different types of failures in your body, your kidneys and your liver because of cigarettes.
No, yeah, cigarettes are bad.
Which helps the medical field.
would never be a proponent for cigarettes. Like I don't ever suggest anyone start smoking them. I don't suggest anyone go back to smoking them. Like I'm a big right now I'm about to switch over to vaping for no other reason than it's gonna get rid of 90% of the shit that I'm putting in my lungs right now when I go from smoking cigarettes to
But it puts
vaping.
moisture in your lungs.
It does. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect thing.
You're gonna stay with pneumonia.
No, that's heavy smokers. I know people that have smoked vapes for years and never really had a problem. Like my uncle and my aunt both were 2-pack-a-day smokers.
Be
like
careful.
they were. I know. But at the end of the day, like you said, I'm trying to better myself. Like it's all about small steps. And I know me and my girlfriend both smoke cigarettes, and we would both quit smoking cigarettes. And this is not me making excuses. It's just me being fucking realistic about shit. We're both gonna be miserable for weeks. We're gonna be fighting with each other and all this other stupid shit. When if we can at least wean ourselves off with vapes, because then you have the choice of how much nicotine do you want to put in your vape. How much do you want to do this and that and there. I'm not really a proponent for vapes either, but it's better than smoking cigarettes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because at least at the end of the day, if you get pneumonia, that's healable. You can go to the hospital, you can get your shit fixed, you can do what you need to do. If you get fucking lung cancer, you're done.
You're done.
There's no replacing your lungs, there's none of that shit, and I don't want to be that guy for my kids. But I'm currently still in thralls of fucking cigarette addiction. I'm the first person to admit that it is an addiction, I need to stop, and da-da-da-da-da. And at this point, I'm just kind of procrastinating, I guess would be the best word for it. But I'm also one of people that, like, I can understand addiction. You know what I mean? I know that it's a problem, and I know that it's hard as fuck to just stop. It really is, man. And, like, it's a willpower thing, but it's also a lot of other shit. Like, how many people around you smoke, how much is it in your household, all this other shit. It's hard to just break away from shit. That's why I don't... Like, I feel for drug addicts, but at the same time, I know, like, it's a choice. Like at the end of the day, I don't have to go buy a pack of cigarettes. You know what I mean? I can just be unhappy. If that dope addict doesn't want to be sick, just go through your sickness. You know what I mean?
You see, yeah. How old are you?
I'm 25.
All right. I started smoking when I was what, 14, 15.
Yeah, me too.
And I smoked all the way up until I was 38, and nothing I tried worked. So, like I said, I started studying with Dr.seabee, and it's this list of ingredients I use. It's called a cleanse. But what it does is it cleanses all the toxins out your body. It cleans your brainstem, your brain, all your vital organs, and your bloodstream completely. A lot of your addiction is in your mind.
No, I know that.
Because of the chemicals, they rest in your brainstem, and it sends off messages to your brain that you need these this chemical makeup that's in cigarettes.
Right.
So what I did is I took ginger, natural organic ginger, root, palm sugar, organic lime juice, some alkaline water, some turmeric powder, and a little bit of chili powder.
Well, luckily I got this on recording, so I'm gonna have to look back over that and get that on paper so I know exactly what it is.
And dandelion root tea bags. And some diced onion. First you boil everything together with the diced onion. You strain it into a cup and then you put the dandelion tea bag in. When you drink it, you're going to feel the difference automatically. It's going to go through your body. Then your stool's going to start coming out dark. That's because it's pulling all the toxins out your body. Brain and all. Even down to your feet. It's going to pull everything out. You do it twice a day for 3 days. And you're going to stop having the urge to smoke.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I smoke longer than you. And
I'm gonna definitely have to try it out, man. I'm gonna definitely have to try it out. So let me ask you this: what do you think about? I know you don't do any drugs. You don't drink. You don't do drugs. You don't
used to
do that, but you don't now. So are you? I personally, I think people should have the freedoms to do whatever they want to their own bodies. That's what it really comes down to. If you want to go do something to yourself, as long as you're not hurting somebody else or causing somebody else like physical pain, because emotions are emotions. Just because I did something and you don't fucking like it, that's suck on something. You know what I mean? Get out of here with yourself. It's freedom of people. You should have way more freedoms than we do today, and a big one for me is drugs, whether it be like anything. But they got a lot of experiments going on with psilocybin mushrooms, and it's been shown to help people quit cigarettes a lot really quickly after 1 or 2 what they call heroic doses, which is like 5 grams of psilocybin. But it would, I don't know exactly how it works, but they said afterwards like you just don't have the craving for it. But it's all about going into the experience with the thought process of, all right, this is going to help me quit smoking cigarettes. I want to get out of my mind just that urge part. That single urge part is the only thing that's really supposed to help. So like if you just don't have the urge to smoke no more, which I think is cool as shit. They also got another experiment going on with MDMA or Molly. You know what I mean? Got another one that's called Kratom that they have huge problems with. They just went through all this shit like 2 or 3 years ago to try to make it illegal, because it's one of the things that missed the sweeping bill in the 80s that got everything that the government did understand and put it in a little box. And basically what people are using it for is a couple things. One's pain relief, because it's a great anti-inflammatory. Like people will work out with it and use it to pull off their muscles afterwards, or like help with, like if you had your knees, for instance, you know what I mean? Now obviously, just like any drug, there's room for abuse. You know what I mean? If you want to abuse something, you can. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it be cheeseburgers or fucking weed or anything. You can abuse it to the point you can die. You know what I mean? But for people that are not trying to abuse it, like, you know what I mean? It's a really good drug to help with opioid addiction. Because the biggest thing that keeps people addicted to heroin and all these pills that the government likes to give out and shit is the fear of being sick. The fear of sitting in your bed for 3 to 7 days shivering while you're hot as fuck, and all these other terrible things that come along with being sick from heroin. So what this does is basically it doesn't make you completely not want to do heroin, because that's a really hard thing to do once you have that experience in your life of full out what they call bliss. You know what I mean? When you just blast it the fuck off. But that's always going to be there. If you're a true heroin addict or something like that, same things about alcoholic or anything else, it's always good. The want for it will always be there, but it helps you get rid of that sickness. It helps you cut that shit out of your life, and they consider it kind of as opioid, but it's not from the same type of plant. You know what I mean? So that's really what it does, just help all the sickness. It cuts all that shit out, and it's helped a lot of people. It's helped a lot of people get through that shit. And it's one of the weird ones, because people in Thailand and a couple other countries have been using it forever. Like forever. They'll make teas with it, and like I said, it just helps anti-inflammatory. It's a steady, low energy. You know what I mean? Now, me personally, I haven't done it. I'm not saying I've done it, but this is all like, I do a lot of research into a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Anything that piques my attention, I'll look into it for a couple hours. So it was an interesting one. But there's a lot of them like that, man. There's the whole peyote thing that the Indians used to use for religious ceremonies and shit like that. And like I said, it's different. Peyote, LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, all these other types of drugs aren't the same types of drugs as heroin, meth, crack, all these other escape drugs, where it keeps you can escape the problems of your life. You don't have to think about them anymore. It'll take all the fear, anxiety, and shit out of you, because you don't care about anything. With these types of drugs, you can't do that. You have to look at the shadows in your mind. You have to look at all these types of places you try to avoid in your own consciousness, because it makes you uncomfortable. You know what I mean? That's why I'm a proponent for those particular things, because you should always want to expand your mind. Even if whether it be intellectually, whether it be you just focusing on your own psyche, which is something I think a lot of people just disregard. Like, it's not as important as people, like a religion or something like that, your own mental health status, or how you really feel about the world that you're living in, or the situation that you put yourself in, or anything like that, whether it be negative or positive. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that people shirk from in their own brain because they don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? Those types of things, they let you expand past that point and feel that uncomfortability, or that the smallness. It's called ego death, is what people call it, and it's healthy. I think it's really healthy for people to get an ego death every now and then. That way you just know that we are not the center of the universe. You know what I mean? We're just humans on a planet with a billion other species of animals that we have to share this planet with and be cohesive with and be a part of the animal kingdom, instead of thinking that we're separated from it somehow, because we're not. You know what I mean? Everything that we do has a serious impact on the planet around us, because there's so fucking many of us at this point. There's almost 8 billion people. So if we have almost 8 billion people throw a single fucking piece of trash on the ground, that's 8 billion pieces of trash on the ground. You know what I mean? It's crazy shit. Like, you were just talking about beef and shit earlier. We were talking about the meat. And I was talking about the Brazilian corporation. They are the main people cutting down the rainforest right now. So they have places to put these pastures for these cows and shit. And it's one of the really scary things, because the amount of species that they wipe out for just let cows graze is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I heard this one study the other day that vegetarians and vegans, through them eating nothing but them specific vegetations that only grow in specific parts of the world and shit, are killing off more animals than they would if they would just eat beef. And I had to say, I don't know if I agree with it, because I know how much of the rainforest is being burnt down, cut down, all these other crazy shit to make room for these animals. And it just, no matter which way you cut it, it's all fucked. There has to be some other way for us to satiate our appetites besides taking out trillions of animals. You know what I mean? Bugs that we've never seen, plants that we never got a chance to get any type of medicinal use from, or see what they do for our body or to our body. There's a lot of shit in the rainforest we have no idea what it's there. It's evolved completely on its own from day one. It's never had human interaction. So how would we possibly know unless we go and look in these places and explore and try to get the wildlife out of there and the animals and everything else like that? Not out of there, but like the information about them. You know what I mean?
I think our diet, a lot of our diets, we eat in such excess that that's why we have certain problems with feeding everybody. Because with an alkaline diet, I drink a smoothie in the morning. That's nothing but fruits and vegetables. Yeah. And I eat one meal a day. And you see I'm 200 something pounds, but I'm in shape and I'm healthy. And a lot of people think you gotta eat till you're full. And in reality, you just gotta eat to live. Your body don't need all that different food, because your body breaks it down in a time frame and it distributes it as needed. Right. When you eating 3 meals a day, your body can't break down and process all that food and distribute it throughout your body. So what it do, it stores it as fat. And fat turns into other toxins and things in your body, and that's how we get sick. Right. But if you limit how much food you take in, you will be full. Your body, your stomach will shrink.
That's what I was about to ask you. Do you think that the reason you were able to keep the weight on after you switched over to this diet, not saying you're fat enough, I mean, like, you look healthy to me, but do you think you were able to keep that little bit of extra weight on that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise, just because your body is on like maybe a survival mode, because you're not getting as many calories as you were used to growing up your entire life and everything like that?
Because I was 230 then when I ate out everything, and I'm 230 now and I don't eat everything. Oh, okay. Yeah. So my body uses what it needs, and if it feels that it's going to be hungry later, it stores it, but I burn it right off. Yeah. And when I wake up, I don't wake up starving. I wake up dehydrated like most people. That's why our tongue be white. Yeah. So I drink water, do the shower thing and all that, do a little bit of meditation mentally and clear my mind. Then I drink a smoothie and I'm good all day until I eat before or after 6.
All right. Well, we got way out in the left field talking about randomness, which I always like to do. I don't care. I'm cool without talking about anything. But there's one I wanted to ask you. So you got booked. We never actually talked about you going to jail after the protests and everything. So tell me what happened with that after. Like what happened after the protests and being all on Penn Live and shit? Because obviously that's what gave them your name and your face, the attention onto you as much as it is now.
Initially, they seen the momentum I was gaining, right, and all the interest, and people were asking questions. Well, who's this guy? Why is he protesting? What's actually going on in that prison? What makes him go out there every day? Isn't this guy on state parole? Why is he risking his freedom for this cause? Absolutely. Because it's imperative that we stand up for people who can't speak for themselves. That's why I started Voices for the Voiceless, to honor and step up for the people who have been bullied, oppressed, and brutalized their whole life and never had nobody acknowledge the fact that they are here, that they exist, they deserve to be spoken for. And in doing so, a lot of the people in higher ups and higher positions in our government or in local government felt like I was a threat. Not an asset, not the fact that I'm doing something positive to enlighten people and shed light on something that's actually an atrocity in my opinion.
It is.
They looked at it as I'm a threat to their way of living and their comfortability.
Right.
So they didn't want me out for the election because they knew the people who I was speaking upon were the very people responsible for the atrocities in Dauphin County Prison. And they thought it may affect the polls and they won't get back in office. So they made a call to this person, they locked me up. And then they put something up there saying, well, 5C, assault behavior.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, because what I had heard, now obviously this is my first chance getting to talk to you about it, but what I had heard was that you got locked up and then a Facebook post was made. So what happened?
No, what happened is 37 days prior to me getting locked up, I made a live Facebook post and I was talking about the individuals who brutalize and beat inmates while in prison, myself being one of them. Mm-hmm. And I made statements saying, you're on my hit list, but this is what I said, you're on my hit list to get prosecuted.
All right.
You see what I'm
So
saying?
they took something out of context and made a threat out of it.
They took all the most key elements of my statement
Right.
and chopped it up to what they wanted to be and used that as the means and loophole to lock me up.
Yeah,
But
lawyers.
that's why I came out. That's why they let me out, because they knew it was bullshit.
Yeah, at least they
Like,
know, because you could have just showed the actual thing, like, this is what happened.
Yeah,
Wow.
he watched it and everything.
Yeah,
and
that's
then I
one of
broke it down for him.
They just wanted you in jail. They just wanted you in jail. That's terrifying. That's really scary shit. That type of shit still really
And
just
it goes
on.
back to the 13th Amendment. Even
Absolutely.
though I'm home on parole, which is a privilege, at liberty to freedom, but I have no freedom.
No, you're
I'm
still
a second-class
criminal.
citizen, so the 13th Amendment sees me as a slave, which means I have no rights. As a slave, you are property to somebody else, so they can do what they want to me. You see, they put me on the ankle monitor today.
Yeah, that's what was their excuse for putting you on the ankle monitor? Even though you've already been home and you don't have no drug charges, revenue charges, anything like that, they just came to you and put you on ankle. So what happened?
I was invited to a public forum to come speak on black enterprise and black entrepreneurship at a local bar where a guy invested in a bar, and it's a community bar, and he wanted me to come speak about it because he's been following me like a lot of people follow me, and he thought I can engage the crowd to some positivity because people see bars as these places that are violent and negative all the time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People generally go to bars to
Have a good time.
relax and have a